My name is Victoria, but most people call me Tori. I am a unique 12-year-old girl who once loved going to school, to the beach, and camping. Playing the piano, softball, and soccer. This is where my journey begins. On January 14th, 2013, I went into surgery to remove a brain tumor. And when I woke up, something precious was taken from me. My sight.
How long and hard was it to get Tori back to school?
It was really hard. Tori had 31 cycles of radiation, and during radiation, she also had some chemotherapy. Tori's had the most amount of radiation a human body can withstand. So, if and when her cancer returns, she is not able to have radiation again. She also had 3 cycles of chemotherapy with all 3 drugs. One of them is the backbone to her brain tumor. But unfortunately, we had to stop that early because the major side effect is children lose their hearing. And her dad and I discussed with Tori about obviously losing her hearing. And since she's blind, Tori said she didn't want to be like Helen Keller. She didn't want to be blind and deaf. So we made a choice as a family to stop her the backbone chemotherapy drug, so that way she could keep her hearing. So she was sick a lot of throwing up, a lot of being in and out of the hospital. It was very tiring. Tori lost a lot of weight. She ended up having to have the NG tube, and what that is they take a feeding tube and shove it down up your nose and down your throat, and it feeds you because Tori was not able to eat. So it was a lot of tears, a lot of fighting, a lot of being sick and just not happy to get back here today.
When you found out I was coming back to school, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel really excited because I knew that I would have my best friend back, and at the same time I kind of knew that things wouldn't be exactly the same as they were before. What type of student was Tori before she was diagnosed with brain cancer and lost her eyesight?
Tori was a very enthusiastic child. She loved going to school. In fact, when she got sick, she'd cry, "Mom, please don't make me stay home. I want to go." I'd tell her, "Honey, you have to stay home. You have a fever." She did not like that. She also was an avid reader before this happened. She'd read all the time. She's one of those kids that usually you hear the parents talk about, "My kid plays too much video games." It was, Tori reads too much.
Gracie, how long have you known me?
Well, I have known you since kindergarten, so that would be 7 years.
I've known Tori since kindergarten.
Tori struggled really hard to be able to come back to CCAA. She missed half of 4th grade and all of 5th grade while she was going through her cancer treatments. And she fought really hard. All she wanted to do was come back and come to school and be with her friends and be able to be in her exploratory classes. But now things are harder for her. She's realizing it's not the same as it used to be. I think she had that expectation that things would be exactly the way they were before she was diagnosed with brain cancer and lost her vision.
It's very hard to maneuver through my classroom because there are students' backpacks, pencils on the floor, and it's very hazardous to me because I could trip and fall easily. My biggest struggle is noise because the kids are tapping on the desks, humming, singing, playing with their pencils, tapping their feet, and so much more, like screaming and yelling. It's hard for me to listen to the teacher.
lot of the noise in our classroom tends to be a struggle. I think her hearing is sensitive, and it can really throw her. And it's a challenge because classrooms get noisy, and I think students forget, and even I forget. And so I think it's hard sometimes because she does seem and appear normal like any other child, so we forget that she does have a sensitivity to noise. So that is a big struggle right now.
Another one of my struggles is making friends. I don't eat in the cafeteria like normal students do. I'm not a normal student. I sit alone in my classroom because the cafeteria is so loud. Kids are yelling and screaming and doing much more.
How do students interact with Tori?
Not very well. She tends to be ignored a lot. She's got one or two friends that say hi to her on a normal basis and, you know, interact with her, but for majority of the time they ignore her. She'll come back from testing and no one will say hi to her, and she's been gone a week. Also, it's really sad. They'll say, "Miss Vanessa, can you tell Tori whatever they want to tell her?" And I'll say, "She's right there, you tell her." I think they just don't know how to act around her, but she's no different than them. She just can't see.
Do you act differently around Tori than you do other students?
No, because she's just like always cracking jokes. She's really a fun person to be around.
Do you think kids treat me different now?
Yes, I don't know if they know how to act around you. They think that you're different, but in the end you just don't look the same. You're completely the same, but I just think that they don't know how to act. So they do act differently and a little bit nervous.
Some probably do because she can't see and she's not like them as much now. But I wouldn't treat her any different because she's Tori.
I am a teacher of the visually impaired, and I work for the Sacramento County Office of Education. And we serve students who are blind and visually impaired in the Twin Rivers District here in Sacramento.
Tori, is it hard learning Braille?
Yes, it is. It is a very complicated thing to learn.
A student who is learning, who has been born blind, is learning to read Braille. Somebody who loses their vision later, such as Tori, she already knows how to read. It's just we're having to learn a different reading medium, so Braille instead of print. So it's kind of a challenge to find curriculum that is meaningful to her, but something that she can learn to read at her level.
Mrs. Keeney, how am I doing?
Well, Tori, you're doing really well on your writing, Braille writing. You've learned a lot of contractions and a lot of shortcuts, and you're remembering them. That's really good. We need to work a little bit more on your reading so that you're using correct hand technique, using both hands, and following in the line, and being able to read the shortcuts and the contractions that you've been learning.
My favorite subject is exploratory, where I participated in a movie Above the Line.
So one time, I had my field recorder on for the whole time, and I picked up 2 actors trash talking the director.
No way. Did you erase the evidence?
I couldn't have. It was part of the scene.
Talk about awkward. What happened to the actors?
They were quickly replaced. Lesson learned, right?
I hope so. Just let me know if you're recording, okay?
You got it.
Yeah. Hey. I also made some music for the movie. One of the music that I made is for a small commercial for the movie. I also did sound for the movie. If there was any background noise in the movie, I would yell cut and then tell Mr. Pham that there was background noise and we needed to do it again.
how did Tori do in exploratory class?
I think Tori did great. Again, it was, I didn't know what to expect from her, what I could challenge her with, what she could do. But then when she came on set, when she started class, she met all the expectation and more, and I think she did wonderful. I don't think she ever stopped taking any of the challenges.
Not only did she act in the scene, but she participated in the crew too.
And did sound for behind the scenes. She did some of the planning and some of the writing where the scene that she was in. She showed up on Saturday shoots when we were at school, so she did the extras. So she did poster shoots. She did everything that everybody else did. So for her to step up and do, again, everything from behind the scenes to actually acting, she actually did more than what some students did. So she did an excellent job.
I teach children who are blind or have low vision how to get around safely in their environment. For some kids, that might mean a white cane. For other kids, they might just need some intense street crossing lessons or learning how to ride public transportation, or even just how to get to all their classes.
Miss Z, how am I doing in mobility?
I think you're doing great. Right now, with your strength, you still need to hold on to somebody to get around, but you're learning how to use your cane. For when you do have the strength to get around by yourself, you'll have the cane skills to be able to do it safely. Different. Those that have been blind all their life, they really feel a need for a cane right away. They're used to either being guided by somebody or maybe having something in front of them. So in that sense, they're more open to it. If I have a student who has lost their vision, it's more fearful because they know what they're missing. But on some things, when it comes to figuring out how to get around a campus, they're able to figure out ahead of time in their mind, kind of map it out in their mind. I've noticed that those skills are better for students who have had vision and have lost it versus students who have not.
You came to Seattle to see me while I was in treatment. How did that affect you?
I guess since then I didn't really know what to expect. When I got there and I saw you, you didn't look like I remembered you. You didn't have your hair anymore. You had lost a lot of weight and you had a tube in your nose, and it kind of scared me because it wasn't what I remembered, and that wasn't how I remembered you.
While Tori was going through treatment, you were able to FaceTime with her. You saw the changes in Tori. How did that affect you?
I felt sad because all of her hair was gone and she looked weird. But I guess that's how you're supposed to look after you went through cancer.
Tori, how do you feel about having to miss school to go to Seattle Children's Hospital for your brain cancer testing?
Well, I have all of the absolutely wonderful doctors and nurses to help me on my journey to help me get better, but it just makes me feel sad. Missing school, I don't have an everyday kid type of life. Having to go to Seattle to have testing done, not being able to interact with my friends, just makes me feel sad and it doesn't feel right.
So Tori, how are you feeling this morning?
Scared.
Why are you scared?
Because I hate MRIs, and plus I need to go to sleep for them and I don't really like it.
How do they put you to sleep?
Anesthesia.
So what's your greatest fear, Tori?
For my cancer to come back.
Why is that?
Because if it comes back, there's nothing that they can do.
How did you feel when you were first diagnosed?
I didn't like it at all. I was upset, I was crying, and I didn't want my life to be this way, but I believe that God has a plan for everybody. During radiation, my doctor had to make me the specialized mask. It's to keep my head from moving, because in radiation, you can't move your head at all. Chemo was not fun at all. It made me nauseous, and I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good all the time. Even the smell of food made me nauseous. I was throwing up all the time. I just didn't feel good. But I continue to fight every day. Even in my darkest days, I chose to get up and fight instead of lay down and die. I believe in today, hope for a cure, and fight for my future. Would you choose to lie down and die, or get up and fight?